some of you guys who are looking for other like-minded people in your area, set out the intention with your energy. Set out your intention to meet others like yourself, and you will. It'll come through weird coincidences. That's how the universe works. It's called synchronicity.
Welcome. I think a lot of people were wondering why the event, because I know that people that have listened to you and also that have listened to Tolik, they were expecting that landing to take place this summer. Remember when they said Tolik, especially Tolik, was saying that they were going to be landing and that they were going to be greeting us. And so I think a lot of people are still expecting them to show. I know I would like to see them. I'd like to meet the members of the Silver Legion and of the Andromeda Council.
I would too. We are still expecting the event to happen. We don't have an ETA. It wasn't just people here on Earth who were very, very disappointed when we were unable to finesse that.
Just Tanaath, I want to say thank you to you and all the comrades of Silver Legion for all they do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Natalie. I think I've been getting your emails, and they've been very heartwarming, and thank you for those.
You're so welcome. And actually, I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is about the etheric implants. Is there a way to remove them?
Etheric implants, yes, they're easier to remove than physical implants. Physical implants usually need physical intervention to remove. Etheric implants can be removed remotely. We can do that. The Andromedans can do that. And even the individual themselves can learn to do it.
Would you know how to do it, like on the individual level?
Yeah, one of the meditations that I use is called the light box meditation. And what I do with that is I create, after grounding, centering, bringing up my own light, connecting with Source, I create a solid box around myself. Solid in terms of what I want it to be, not in terms of you can touch it with your physical hands. And I make it out of light. And then I drag that box down through my body so that I pass through it and the box stays solid. I pass through unharmed. Everything inside that is not good stays trapped within the box until I sweep my whole body and take everything not good out of myself. And then I take that box and I throw it into the sun, or I destroy it, or I do whatever I want to destroy that negativity. If you do the light box, you will be able to remove etheric, astral, and other non-physical implants, parasites, and negative energy attachments. All you have to do is focus on those box walls being impenetrable to anything bad. And they'll stay trapped inside the box.
Oh, thank you. I will do that tonight for sure. Thank you. And, okay, so the second one is about the reptilian DNA mixed in with the human. I heard that the Rh negative blood type indicates some kind of an ET genetic presence. Would you know if that's true?
I've heard this myself. I'm just going to ask my brother. He says, yes, negative Rh factor is an indication of reptilian genetics, but it's not the only indication. And it does not mean that people who have Rh negative blood are evil, bad reptilians. It just means that they have a certain reptilian gene that turns on the Rh factor. Like I said, the average human being on this planet has between 5 and 10% reptoid genetics. Doesn't make you evil, doesn't make you bad. There's even some of those genetics that are inadvertently good, that inadvertently useful. But for the most part, don't worry about it. Don't worry if you have reptoid blood. Almost everybody on this planet does.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
No, just I'm Rh negative, so I was wondering, like, how does it all play along? I was like, I'm not evil.
No, you're not evil. You're no more evil than I am. Your blood does not make you evil or good.
So, Natalie, so let me ask you,
Yes.
do you feel reptilian?
At times I do, but it's it's hard to explain, but I have that moments when I snap, like mentally, and I feel like doing like hurtful things, but then I snap back. So
No,
maybe that's a part of it.
That's one of the legacies of the reptoid genetics, is that the aggression complex.
Yeah.
Most of us are
I
socialized
snap back,
well
so it's
enough
fine.
and don't have the soul inclination to give into it. We still get the aggressive complex, but we don't give into it. It's the difference between latent and active.
Yes. And the rest of it is called social consciousness. Because let me tell you, I want to snap every day I'm driving home.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I sometimes become a much worse person behind the wheel.
I know it.
Well, actually, driving can be a great training for patience and acceptance. You know, when you get cut off by the bum hole in front of you doing something, who knows what, just remind yourself, hey, maybe he's really got something important to go to. You know, you've done it too. Everybody does it.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, sometimes without even knowing it. Everybody's the same on the road. So when the road rage rises up inside, just take a deep breath and say, they're doing the same thing you're doing. They're trying to get somewhere on a crowded road. Yeah, I tend to be pretty good at explaining things. And it seems to be one of my key strengths and one of the reasons why I am in a communications position. Well, that kind of contact is generally how a lot of people experience that kind of lucid dream state thing. Mm-hmm. Now, I would give you a word of caution, and that is, you know, if you can remember it in the lucid dream state, which isn't always easy to do, but ask why. Ask why you're being asked to do this or that, what the intention is, what the purpose is, how it benefits you, how it benefits others, what the risks are. You know, we tend to be very blindly trusting of spirits, and that's not always a good idea.
Right. I did ask, and I was given the explanation on every step. You know, it was a pretty detailed dream, and I remembered all of it.
Good.
And
then it's likely that you were interacting with true positives, because true positives will tell you, and they won't hold anything back.
Yeah.
And they do, you know, that laughter, that humor, that love, that warmth, that's there, and it can't easily be faked.
You didn't really say too much about how the souls are trapped. Can you go into that a little bit? I know of people that have committed suicide, and I just want to tell you thank you so much for sharing on that part of it, because that is really a wonderful relief to know what you shared. And I'm wondering if those entities, those beings, those souls, could possibly be here helping their families at this time.
A lot of them are. I'm in contact with some of my recently passed ancestors. Mm-hmm. In fact, because, you know, I did have a loss in the family here last month. And it's been a little easier for me to bear than it has been for my other family members, because I'm able to hear and speak to my family member.
Okay. Well, I've experienced that as well.
Yeah.
So thank you for...
I could tell you a little bit about not all of the technical details, because, once again, I'm not privy to that. But I do know that, you know, there were multiple redundant systems in place to do this. One of the things that happened upon death was the veil would funnel people into what I guess you could consider almost like a receiving room. Mm-hmm. At the receiving room, you would be met by a negative entity disguised usually to be some figure of religion or historic importance, presenting itself to you as a positive, saying things like, oh, here you are, this is your life, you know, all the review of the life. This is what you've done, these are the mistakes you've made, you have to fix this. And then they would convince you to come back down. I went through this myself. I've spent 2,500 years on this planet in various incarnations. 2 incarnations ago, I told them to go stuff it and left. They couldn't stop me. Then I was asked to come back by different entities, positives, saying, hey, look, we got a problem on this planet. We need to do something about this. Tanaath, would you come help us? And I said, I just got out of there. Are you kidding? At which point they said, yeah, I know it's a pain in the butt, but we really, really need your help. And I said, okay, but I'm asking for this kind of support at this time, or I'm not doing this.
You know, kind of cruising around about the rising awareness worldwide, there seems to be one very large section of this whole new era saying that they're being told, you know, look for our ships, and we can't wait to bring you up and have you meet your family, and come to our ships, and come to our ships, and come to our ships. And this seems very not right to me. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, I can comment about that. Remember what I said about channeling being illegal and outlawed by the Federation? Keep in mind the source of most of this information. And keep in mind that there are some laws still in place that have to be obeyed by the other side, and some of those include certain forms of consent for certain forms of behavior and activity. And if they can trick you into seeking it out yourself, well, they have a loophole and they can do whatever they want to you. So, once again, unless you are absolutely certain about the identity of this person or this being, don't do it.
People have the popular perception of fairies is that they're little naked girls with butterfly wings and they're sweet and nice. I tell you, of all the creatures I've dealt with, the ones I am least linked with are the fae.
Okay.
You know, we have many legends across the world of interactions with the fae, and most of them indicate that the fae are capricious. You never know what you're going to get. They can be positive or negative, but they're not necessarily with humans' interests in mind, their own.
Wow. Now, let me premise what we're talking about here, because I know a lot of people need to understand this. A lot of what we know of as nursery rhymes, or
there are ancient traditions of humans attempting shape changing. So yes, werewolves. About vampires, no. From what I know about vampires, the Hollywood depiction is a modern incarnation of it. What we're generally talking about is human beings who have an energy deficiency of some sort.
So they're more or less psychic vampires.
Some people feel that some of what we consider to be vampires are non-human extraterrestrials that interfere with us.
What are some of the different species that you've encountered tonight?
Multiple realms. You know, there's so many different realms out there, like so many different layers of the onion, so many different onions.
But what's that got to do with
an onion might not even care about you one way or another. You know, there's stuff out there that is neutral aspected towards us, just as there is stuff out there that is hostile towards us or friendly.
So,
and there are so many players out there. It isn't a matter of just a couple of races. It isn't a matter of just one alien or one spirit race or whatever. It is life without end. We have access to all of it. We have access to a portion, and that portion is still infinite. It is, and it doesn't help that our social training has trained us to think of this as imaginary, make-believe, delusion, fantasy. It really doesn't help that we've been trained to think that way.
No, we understand it, but see, a lot of what people take as being myth, that myth was based in fact and truth.
You were interested in some of the other species that are within the Silver Legion.
Yes.
Yes, and we are about 60% humanoid. And by humanoid, I mean anything that could be easily mistaken for an Earth human with a little bit of makeup. And, you know, this includes some of our more human-like elves, gnomes, things like that, some of the more human-like fae, because we do have some members who are fae. Anything that has 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose, a mouth, stands upright on 2 legs with feet. Yes. I'm not including the ones that have tails, wings, horns, or other unfamiliar appendages. What? I'm including those in our exotics category.